In my sermon on Sunday, I referenced my garden. This is our little startup. It's not perfect, but it's brought us a lot of focus and joy mixed with just a little bit of stress. We've called this our Victory Garden. The Victory Garden movement started in 1917 in response to the First World War. Initially, they were called war gardens, and they encouraged Americans to plant gardens in any and all available spaces in order to free up the main food supply for the soldiers. These gardens then continued to have an impact when the 1919 flu pandemic hit. Americans continued to plant gardens in their yards, empty lots, school grounds, and local parks. So it seemed appropriate to Brian and myself to pick up this tradition again in the wake of our current pandemic. While we are not experiencing a food shortage in the vegetable aisles, it has just felt good to get our hands in the dirt and to be reminded of the practice of gardening. Scripture is also filled with references to gardens. Of course, all life blossoms from the Garden of Eden in the Genesis story, and the final revelation of John ends in the Garden of New Jerusalem. Gardening is referenced in the later sections of the Old Testament as the gardeners are instructed in the law and the prophets to offer their first fruits to God, and then to leave some for those who are in need to come back and glean. In Matthew 17:20, Jesus compares one's faith to that of a mustard seed, and of course, there's the parable we referenced in Sunday's worship about the sower. So I couldn't help but think about all that it takes to garden, all the tools, resources, and knowledge. We've tilled, we've enhanced the soil, we've built a fence, we've bought and borrowed tools. Folks who know we are gardening have brought us stakes and fencing materials. It's really been a team effort in many ways. But we have a tool shed over there that has many different instruments in it now. I'll spare you and my husband the misery of seeing the inside. But it made me think even more about the past and the future of the church. Paul talks a lot about us acting as a body, and that we all have different skills and we need each other to help really build up the church. Sunday, I asked us to vision and to dream. In all honesty though, I'm not a great visionary, but I know some of you are great at seeing what could be. I'm not skilled at sewing fabric, but we have a great team of women who sew. I'm definitely not good at building, but we have a fantastic crew who work to help do projects for those who are in need. I'm not a great cook, but we have a lot of people who love working in the kitchen for our church. Whatever God is moving us toward in the future, it's going to take all of us. Our dreamers, our entrepreneurs, our singers, our sewers, our cooks, our cleaners, our builders, our finance people. Whatever your skill is, the church needs it. We are God's tool shed. We all need to work in the garden of First United Methodist Church of Morristown. How are you going to allow God to use you to help the garden grow?